Hi lovelies, welcome to my life and tarot. I thought I would start a little series of comparing the decks to the Rider-Waite, the decks that the creators of the decks have been classified themselves as following the Rider-Waite Smith system. So I always suggest for my students to compare their new decks or the decks they have which follow the Rider-Waite system to the actual Rider-Waite deck, because as the deck itself is, for me, as I see it, a skeleton of the system itself, and the system following decks are built on this skeleton. So for better understanding maybe, or making these connections and correlations in your head, it's a really good practice to actually take the decks side by side and make the connections and everything for yourself, by yourself. So as I just recently, let's say a week or so ago, got the wooden tarot, which by the creator's own vision follows the Rider-Waite Smith system, and I wanted to share my thoughts and visions for the deck. So I thought I would just go through the deck with you for the first time, with comparing it to the Rider-Waite classic deck itself. So, as you can see, I had much fun and enjoyed the setting up of the elements around this area. We have all the elements of this deck shown and what is it now? Well, that's not important. I'm not going to blabber. Let's see. I've went through the wooden tarot with envisioning the Rider-Waite cards in my head and trying to make the connections for myself to it. And as I got this as a birthday gift from lovely Diane Jarecki, and she also sent me a few links to the blogs or the articles where people have actually went through the cards and shared their own visions. To be honest, I went through one of the blogs and read through the plums and stones, because I had the most struggles with some of the cards in the deck. It's really interesting, her views and knowledge about the deck, but most of it, or okay, many of it, I didn't like connect with myself, and so I thought I would try to go through this as myself, or as I see it, and share it with you. So it's so unconventional deck that it deserves this in-depth review or walkthrough with the things that I see in here. Maybe it helps someone to see more of this deck, or maybe even get this deck, because as I'm tilting towards non-people on my decks lately, so this one actually didn't even make it yet into my wish list, but it arrived in a perfect time, and I'm really happy with this deck actually, because it is so simple and so beautifully shown, the wooden tarot. Let me grab a box for you to show. I'm trying not to blabber too much. This is a box. It has 79 cards, and is created by, I really can't remember the name of the creator, but if we go through the deck, his knowledge about nature and things is amazing actually, and yeah, let's just start. The major arcana, the Fool. This one is pretty self-explanatory, I think, because the snakes eat the mouse, and the mouse being courageously standing on the snake is pretty foolish, I want to say. So we can see the not the ignorance, but the bravery, and the thing that the Rider-Waite Smith Fool depicts, stepping into the unknown, yet he is on the steady ground, but the little mouse here is standing on the dangerous ground, I want to say. He is nowhere in the safe zone like the Fool yet is before taking the final step. But as you can see, in nature things sometimes work different ways, and if the snake would just grab him, and that would be like it for the mouse, but the way the mouse is acting might be surprising for the snake, and they are confused and might not even eat the mouse, because confusion in nature makes the animals, and in this case the snake, flee, because usually the mouse runs away from the snake, and this is the way it works. But if someone or something acts against their usual way, or acts against the common sense, let's say, then the other part, even if they are bigger or more stronger, they might actually flee, because they are not used to this type of way of acting, let's say. So this mouse is maybe in the foolish or trusting or just not giving a bleep way, making the snake not eat him or her, but letting him go. So this is how I see this Fool card in here, so if it would come up in the reading, I would suggest it's a foolish bravery, acting out of instincts maybe, but in a bad situation. If you are standing your ground and maybe facing the threat or the enemy might actually flee. So this is the thinking out of the box. Let's see, the next card is the Magician. I must say I am not familiar with this type of butterfly or the bug. I know a little bit, but from what I see, this is the butterfly that has the eyes on the wings, so they can seem something else, or they can act as if they are something else in the nature for the predators or for someone that is threatening the creature. So this one tells me the Marseille style magician part of the tarot, more than this having all your elements and things, because you can't see any of the elements in here. So I will go with this card as the ability or the tools. Oh, there are the tools. The tools to make an impression or make something else out of yourself. So it has the tools, and it has the Rider-Waite in it still, and the infinity sign is beautifully shown with a branch which has new leaves on it, a few old leaves, and a little blooms showing the spring, the foliage in here. And so the way this butterfly can intimidate or save its skin, so to speak, intimidate the whoever he is against. No one will try to eat, like in nature. Animals and bugs are making themselves bigger or looking like something else, and the predator will go away or be afraid, like the Fool card. In nature things are a little bit different, so this deck is suggesting that you must think a little bit from the other point of view, not just bluntly. But yeah, the butterfly totally has the tools, and also the trickster or the magician's way to deceive the onlooker. So as I said, I'm doing it first time with you here, so this is going to be a journey of understanding for myself as well. Here we have the High Priestess, and is this the blue whale or the largest mammal in the earth waters, or at all? So what I see here is clouds, not the water. And the whale is jumping out of the water, reaching the, let's say, clouds, even going out of its usual habitat. making the huge jump so he or she can see more. You can see 3 eyes and extra. This is like 2-in-1 being. Extra fins, or however they are called in English. So we don't have the usual pillars here, yet the moon phases are shown, and reaching to the higher planes, or the planes that you are not swimming in usually, says the High Priestess. Like, the secrets aren't only in the depth of your own habitat. The whales can dive really deep, yet they can also jump out really high from the water. They have both of the planes. So this is how I see this card. The whale jumping out of its own usual habitat to see more, to reach for the higher knowledge and vision. The Empress, shown as an elephant with the great pomegranate, is it? Which is actually one of the things that we see on the High Priestess card usually, which is a symbol of fertility, as are the grains, or the wheat growing out of here. And also you can see the water element, showing that this is emotions. This is the Earth Mother. You can see the trees growing on here. And to better understand the card, I want to show the Emperor and the Empress side by side. Here you can see the fire element and water, the Aries, and here you can see the stones, or the mountain tops, the grounded, the strength, the mountain tops you can see on the Emperor here. So they are like the opposite sides, the very masculine fire element and very feminine water element. So also you can see the staff of power, and the shield is the elephant itself, the way the elephants live and how they act inside their herd or family is really, really like mother-like and father-like. They stick together, and elephant is, from all the animals I can think of, the best way to actually describe the Empress for me. So also the greenery, the foliage, you can see the water running here, the water element, the forest. The elements are actually here, and the fertility of the mother. Now the Emperor, as I said, the mountains behind him, the strength, the way the Emperor must stand stand strong, and the Ankh and the what is this now? I keep forgetting things. The Aries element in here, so it like makes sense a lot. So next, I'm sorry the lights are flickering a lot today. I'm not sure what's, not the lights, but this only one light. I'm not sure, maybe it's something, maybe it's something that I don't know, I can't see, but maybe just the light bulb is going bad. So it's not you. If you can see the flashes, it's not you, it's totally me. So the Hierophant, the keys to heaven. The Hierophant has also, you can see the antlers form crosses up there. The red roses, and can't much say more. This is like simple way to depict Hierophant, and nothing like throws off from here or is not. You can see the instead of the tiara, the sun or the enlightenment is, as you can see, it's not behind the deer, but it's rising from his antlers. It's like the part of it or him, not behind him. Next, the Lovers. Actually, with the Lovers, I'm not sure what this is. Oh, now I see it. It's two-headed, I want to say. Hummingbird. It's a hummingbird. Is it two-headed, or is it two hummingbirds really close? I want to say I see two legs and one body. It's two-headed hummingbird, each looking at the different direction, yet being one. So I want to say the twin flames, or the one body, two minds, which shows the lovers card really well. Here you can't see any of the actual elements from the Rider-Waite, but the heart being green is interesting, but the little droplets remind of something that the flowers give to the hummingbirds, so they feed from it. And if you go from there, you can see the hummingbirds using the heart's juices, let's say, because I don't see if it as a blood or something. And the flower they are in, the flower a little bit reminds me of a womb, or the very feminine depiction, and the green heart then might be the masculine, and they are like working together for these little birdies here. Some cards stray a lot. Since it takes a lot of time, I'm doing the majors separately and minors in a separate video unless we are going to be here for 7 hours. So, the chariot. Snail. Snail with its home, and the snail looks old, I want to say, because the mushrooms are growing on his shell already, and there's a little bit moss. But as they say, the rolling stone doesn't gather moss, and the snail is on the roll, but the upper side gets the rain and everything. So if you are on the move or outside a lot, it might happen that you are growing something on your back. And you can take it as a burden, but you can also take it as a blessing. It's your choice. And again, no similar details from the chariot card of the Rider-Waite. Yet you can see the movement. It is a chariot. It is constant because the snails are on the move most of the time, and this one has totally been on the move for a while and exposed to the elements, so the mushrooms could grow in its back. So if I compare this chariot is not moving yet. This is the start of the movement, but this one has been moving for a while. This has been ongoing process, and the attachments, so to speak, from this journey has already taken root, so to speak. I'm so sorry about the flickering light. I'm not sure how this even can be fixed. So, the strength of the diamond. Right away you can see the diamond being the strongest rock or the crystal or the thing. And it is sharp, it can pierce some stuff or scratch or cut some things, so strength. Also this beetle, I'm not sure how they are called in English. They have this horn or thing on their front. They are, I think, rhino beetle or something. And they can lift pretty heavy stuff, and I'm not sure if it's the beetle that rolls the dung ball or not. I have to look into it. I'm not sure. I'm not good at bugs identification, so it can be the bug that rolls the huge dung ball as well, which is also the symbol of not only strength but also abundance. And this makes sense as a strength indeed. So, the Hermit. The great bear having crystals on his heart, and the eyes are not usual bear eyes. I want to say they have brown eyes usually, but this looks more like the crystal shade, and the mountains are on his head. The mind has to be up there, not your physical body. The hermit stance or state begins in your mind. You don't have to go to be alone, but you can be alone in yourself. So this is how I see this card, and it's covered a little bit like the hood, but also the mystery, or the, how can I say it, the cocoon cocoon that you wrap in when you are dealing with your own stuff and going within. It looks safe, and as the bears are the cave animals, and usually live in the solitude, I want to say. So, and for the winter they hibernate, so it makes sense as a hermit. We are only halfway and already half hour, trying to make this quicker, but without sparing any thoughts or losing any thoughts. So the Wheel of Fortune, again, this is very occult thing. Here you can't see anything from this but the round shape, yet the Wheel of Fortune as a spider. The spider is waiting. You can get stuck in there. You can avoid it. Think about when you're walking in the forest, and when you're not being mindful, you can actually walk face forward into the huge spider net. So it can be this way or another. And if you're living mindfully or walking in the woods mindfully, then you can see the spider web and not just walk into it. And here you can see the, I want to say, water. Then I'm not sure which way should we look at this, but the feminine with the moon, and these signs I'm not too sure of. I would want to say air and earth, but it doesn't look like it's the case. I would have to look into this some more. But yeah, the spider itself has, are they eggs or are they eyes? Not eyes. Eyes can't be on the back, so they are the little spiders or the eggs that he is carrying, showing that his own species is regenerating and going forward, and the movement of the wheel. But with the spider web, you can totally get stuck in it, you can avoid it, but they are always somewhere, they are always there. And spiders can be scary, spiders can be cute. For some, they are phobias and all things. It can be anything. like the Wheel of Fortune. It just can go either way, but here I can see the mindfulness within your actions. You can prevent falling down from the wheel, although this will still keep spinning, but mindful living calls you to be able to avoid some things that make your life path or your path in general not so rocky or not so bad experience, let's say. Justice. Simple and beautiful, the riches and the soul, the sword, the scales, the eagle, or whoever this is, with two pairs of wings, one open, one closed, and the eyes are closed, which justice actually should be. Here you can see he or she is behind the veil, or this acts as the blindfold in this deck for me. He is still indifferent from the outside influences, but in here it's just beautifully shown, and it speaks justice. The Hangman. Absolutely beautiful with the third eye. And again, is this moon or is this sun? I want to say it's sun because again the light, the enlightenment. Yet this paired with the bat shows how they move in the darkness. They are totally blindly seeing everything, using the echo, using the not your eyes but something else. So the position, everything, and the hanging is pretty straightforward. The halo, let's say, but in this deck I see it as not only looking for the different angle or letting things hang, because they have to take this stance for the cold or winter time. They are not flying around. This is like forced for them. Or at the daytime they also are not moving around. So waiting for the right time for you, and seeing the unseen, or using the other abilities to locate your goals or the things you're after. Death card. Not only is the owl so beautiful, the snowy owl in here, you can see it has a mouse in its beak, and the sun is coming up, so he has to be like, the hunting is over, the hunted is catched already, the black rose symbol, and the mushrooms look like maybe this gate or the pillars. But in some cultures, including my own, the owls are thought as the death bringers, and seeing or hearing an owl has been like the omen for death around here. The owl itself already speaks about the death for me, not even without the mouse, but the mouse you can actually make parallels to these people around here, because for death we are the mice that he just takes. But again, the sun rising from there, the darkness will be over. Darkness of life, darkness of the struggles and all that good stuff. So beautiful, beautiful. And the fact that it has a snowy owl, the white owl in it, adds to the charm, because the purity of the whole death is not like darkness or the evil, but the washing machine, or the purity of the soul, or if we talk about the death as death, but the purification of things. So the white is a little bit like the white horse, red eyes, the carrier, the messenger of death. Temperance. Not only are otters the cutest animals, or is it a otter or something else? For me it's an otter. The way they can move in water, the way they can live on the land and in the water, they are beautiful creatures who can have fun as well, and they are like handling their own environment really well. Not that any other animal doesn't, but the otters play with rocks, and scientists or whoever are observing them don't know to this date why they do that, and they have their own pet rock sometimes that they actually carry around and keep for their whole life, which is really interesting. But knowledge about the animal itself adds to this understanding of the cards, at least for me. You can see the lilies. Here are for me they are water lilies, but these are like usual white lilies. So I'm really glad to see people on the cards, and these like open up much more. You can see the flow, how he moves and changes the flow, or the ripples of the water, like the temperance is like changing the water's flow, or being with moving around in here, in there. And the third eye adds a little bit more depth to the card, as actually the angel something in here. Yet the way to the enlightenment, the road to the higher self is shown here, and I think this is shown with the third eye. Get it open and you can see where you are going. Next is the devil, which is really interesting. This is the only, I think, human part in this whole deck, and human skull embellished with beautiful diamond things and the antlers. And I want to say that the other antlers is not attached to the head, but looks like they are behind or not. But this card shows me that the devil is the people, how we treat the animals, how we actually act like we are the kings, we are the rulers of the everything nature, and therefore we are choosing like be bad or be this I don't know, abusive species for the animal kingdom. But also having horns is like taking from the animals and making yourself more awesome with their parts, like something like that. This for me is not telling about actually something that you are maybe addicted to. Well, maybe somewhat the riches, the I don't know, looking good, the things we are after are our own demise and of others. So, but if you are just looking bluntly, horns, it's pretty much devil. But here you can see choice. You don't have to be like this. This is your own choice to be in this position, and if you acknowledge that you are the bully, then it's your choice either to break it or to keep being one. The Tower, again you can see the elements. I'm not sure about this shape here. This is interestingly shown, or is it just like, I'm not sure. Knowing how much I see on the deck, there's nothing coincidental or just put in there. So you can see ground and the rock, and the tree is like grown on the hard surface instead of the roots being in the ground. It has to be reaching for the ground while standing on the rock. So you can see the hint to the mountaintop here, and the way it has grown, it's all crooked and like not right maybe, or not right for the tree itself even. All the knots and all shows that the growing process even was a struggle, and no leaves shows that it's not fertile. I'm not sure about those purple things, purple saying about the spiritual, as the purple is spiritual something, then all the falling pieces in here show that the lesson, the spiritual lesson from this wrongly grown or wrongly grown, like the spiritual lesson or something has been emerging from this situation, something like that. So excuse my not maybe knowing too much, but this is my vision of how I see this deck. And as I'm doing this for the first time, I just sifted through the deck and haven't made up my mind over all the cards yet. So the star, the lotus flower filled with water, the lightning bug or the firefly showing the light, the star, pretty self-explanatory, the water-filled morning dew inside the lotus flower being the symbol of spirituality and of as you can see, all the Buddhas and are sitting on the throne of lotus flower. So this is like the base of your hope, the base of your emotions, your self. And now the light has been induced or introduced to this, and you can see better what is maybe important or what is the things that you can build on in the future. Next is the moon. I'm not sure whose skull it is. Must actually go with it being a dog or a wolf. And the drooling water here with the moon having not so pleasant look on its face. The skull not yet skull. There's some life in it. How else can it drool? How else can it have an eye? And this tells me about the depiction or the things not being as they seem, or there's more to it. You can see there's more to that. It's not only skull. It has movement. It has like leaves or pieces flying off of it, or the fur, the live eye, and the drooling. So you can't take it as a dead skull because it's life in it. It has life in it, and the teeth can be still sharp. You can't just put your hand in here. And the moon, just showing the moon itself. This is the way I see it. The sun card is something I first giggled over, and next was, I don't know, not thrown off, but a little bit confused about. Because the fox having no head and the sunflower instead of the head, and it is like the morphing into the sunflower or sunflower morphing into the fox. It has sunflower leaves or the petals in the fur up here. Not here. The lower part is fully foxed, but this is a little bit, and the face of the sun is not so attractive maybe as well, but it doesn't like show this usual joy or the victory or things coming into the light for me. But the morphing thing can be added to the reading as something coming into bloom, or something that even couldn't have been, or by the logic mind cannot be, morphing into something else, is still doing it or going to do it. Judgment. I can understand the blow, the things instead of the head, and the people skulls. So this is the second place we see something, pieces from the person are like these emerging from the waters. And this, I want to say, is which bird? Pelican, but the mushroom or something instead of the head is really interesting. I would have loved an eye here maybe, but I can see the blowing the horn, making the sound of the Judgment Day. But otherwise it's a little bit hard to read as a judgment as I see the Judgment card usually. Judgment card being taking the loose ends together and thinking about what has been done and how to move forward, making the last adjustments to the or just being called out for your actions or words. So the calling out I can see here, but the making the final judgment over yourself and judging yourself from the bystander's view, or honestly judging yourself, that I can't see in here. And the last card, an hour already. So the world, amazingly beautiful card is this. You can see the both sides are mirroring the underworld, I want to say, and the higher world, like in the old Nordic or the Viking beliefs, the tree of life. And we are in the middle here, the middle world, the underworld, and the upper level. Here you can see the door opening within the tree branches, so the next level, some new doors are opening for you, and all the stormy and the earth level below, everything is left behind. But if it's upright, then reversed, sorry, then the emotions are, you are not thinking, making the decisions clearly, you are going on the same round again. This is not going to be something new. The door is opening to the underworld. So this is like the karma reversed. Amazing. This is like this one card that makes me want to actually read this deck with reversals. I'm doing right now a few decks only with reversals, but majority not. Some decks just call out for me to read the reversals, but this is not the case. We are reviewing the beautiful world card, and yeah, you can see the Tree of Life, the going around, what goes around comes around, and everything shown with the roots and the door. It's more spiritual, more telling actually than this card for me. So, and the last card, which I consider as a major arcana card, is the Happy Squirrel. For me, this card showing the infinity sign, the third eye, squirrels for me are the gatherers, the preparers of. They prepare all the winter, yet they can play around, jump around, and mess around. Just the way they live is fully balanced between work and having fun. Yet they have really good stash put away somewhere, and the third eye showing that be aware, be prepared all the time, yet don't forget to have fun, to just enjoy life. Everything is not only grind and preparing, but make it playfully and see more than just meets the eye. So yeah, this is the beautiful wooden tarot majors. Let me know what you see in this deck or these cards I shown. Maybe I missed something, and let's share the knowledge so we can all like add to each other. You don't have to agree with me, but and I don't have to agree with you, but the more maybe we share about how we see the cards that are like out of the box a little bit, and the more we learn, the more we become to see and to know, and yeah, all this good stuff. So enough of the blabbering. This was the wooden tarot majors. I'm going to stop this video right here, and we'll be doing the minors in separate videos, I think by the suit, because it takes too much time to sit through whole of the minors, I think, because there's a lot to see and discuss about, I think. So thank you for watching, and bye.